Is One Piece even worth watching? With 880 episodes just at the time I'm recording this, and still going with a lot more to still cover, is One Piece even worth watching? With shows like Welcome to the NHK, Cowboy Bebop, the first season of Psycho Pass, etc., 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 so on and so forth, that are 25 episodes and under, is it even worth investing your time in a show that is, again, going to be in the way past thousands by the time it finishes? Hi, I am JW Alistar from Hell and Hightails, and this is my anime ramble session number 1 about One Piece. Obviously. One Piece is, at its core, a horrifically lazy adaptation of a source material that is so great, the anime is good anyway. It is very, very clear that while you are watching One Piece, that vast majority of these scenes are done either as lazily as possible or are intentionally slowed down as much as possible with lots of filler scenes of just scrolling past still images and smoke to try to make sure they never do more than a chapter an episode, and to make sure they can get these episodes out as fast as physically possible and only putting in extreme amounts of effort on super iconic scenes from the manga. Despite this, me and a large number of other people will still tell you that One Piece is fantastic and absolutely worth watching for 10,000 episodes, or however long it's going to be by the time we actually get an ending. That's because, even though at its worst, One Piece, the anime, is a long drawn-out slideshow of the manga with voice acting and color, it still is a very accurate adaptation of a simply phenomenal manga. So even when the episode is dragged on for an extra 10 hours, and even when the animation is ungodly lazy, the thing it's all basing every scene of this off of is still so great that even when they go out of their way to make it bad, it's still enjoyable. That's not to say that the anime doesn't have its upsides. Being animated, it has definitely added some things to the fight scenes, and I don't want to, spoil anything, seeing this is a video that will probably have a lot of people that haven't watched One Piece watching it, but there are a lot of really great and epic scenes that they do actually put a lot of effort into. And those scenes are really, really great to see animated. And it definitely adds a lot. And the voice acting, by far, makes a lot of the jokes and a lot of the punchlines a lot funnier, and animation can a lot of times add extra to comedic timing, which a lot of times it does. And the glorious part of having an anime running every single week is it's gotten a lot more people to watch One Piece. And I never would have gotten into One Piece if it didn't have an anime. I never would have been like, man, I want to read this manga with 92 and ongoing volumes. I never would have done that if I didn't start seeing the anime of One Piece when I was half my age, if not younger. And yeah, it was the bad 4Kids dub, but I was a kid and I didn't know better, and by the time I did know better, Funimation was dubbing it, and not long after that I switched to subtitles anyway. But the point is that I don't want to just be down on the anime. Not at all. I don't want anyone to look at this video and think this is a negative video. Not at all. I think One Piece has a lot of faults, and I think they absolutely have to be addressed if I'm going to rant about how much I love this series so much, especially if you are somebody that is looking to invest 880 plus episodes into the series. There's no way you can say, hey, want to watch the show, and not mention the fact that there are more episodes in this show than there are days in a year. In fact, more than double, and it's not even done yet. You can't bring that up and not address it. It's inherently going to lock a lot of people out of watching this show. So the main purpose of this long, rambly video is to help you assess whether, hey, this show is worth me investing all these episodes into, or it isn't. And if you're a fan of manga, I will say right now, the most convenient way to ingest this would be the manga, which the art is great, it has way better pacing, and again, the manga and anime are mostly identical, aside from the manga giving you some extra backstories into what characters are doing sometimes, and again, the pacing's just better because the anime will frequently have scenes that drag out slightly longer just to fill up time because they want episodes to be just like a chapter of the manga. And it kind of gets worse like 500 or so episodes in. Whenever they get to the... they start to have an entire, second intro that's, 30 seconds. And then, they have recap on top of that after the already long anime intro, so it has even more. And then they have the next time on One Piece thing at the end, so the actual content you get in episodes is shorter when you get further into it. But despite all that, I love One Piece. I have a Luffy figurine for my figurine collection that I'll be unboxing that should be here shortly. And, again, I've been watching this since it first aired on Toonami, and I'm still watching it. This show has been going the entirety of my existence. And that's kind of the thing that makes One Piece so good. It's kind of the big draw of it. The real plus side of having such a mind-numbingly long anime is nostalgia. And I don't just mean nostalgia in the sense of I like watching the Indigo Plateau of Pokemon because I watched it as a kid and it gives me those feelings in my stomach because it reminds me of my childhood. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this is a show where no matter how fast you watch it, it doesn't matter if you finish this show in 4 months, 10 years, or if you freeze time and watch all of it nonstop, binge watching it to the end, and then unfreeze time and only 2 minutes have passed. It doesn't matter how fast you consume this. If you watch episodes of this show with these characters, and it is a very fun cast of characters, if you watch it from episode 1, and see them when they're essentially weak and insignificant in the scope of the world. They're only slightly better than the characters that only exist to get killed in one shot. They're like the absolute weak, bottom of the barrel cast of people, and you see them grow over the course of 1,000 episodes, and see them get stronger, and change, and you see them as they get more friends, and adventures change, and the people they fight change, and the world around them change, and you see these people grow. It doesn't matter if you've actually been watching this since you were a kid, like I've been. It doesn't matter if you've actually been watching this show from the beginning when it started airing. It doesn't matter if you're watching it before there was even a dub of it. If you invest 1,000 episodes into this, by the time you get to episode 880, and they have a flashback of something that happened in episode 26, it will feel nostalgic. It doesn't matter how long it took you to get there. If you got there in 4 months, it will feel nostalgic. Because having such a long series to invest in, it creates this it creates a greater emotional reaction because everything in One Piece is building upon everything that happened before. Eiichiro Oda may have made a series that is so long that many people will never get into it, but he has made a series that never forgets what has happened in it before, and is constantly laying groundwork for things to build upon later. There's a character named Jinbei. I won't tell you how he's relevant because I'm not going to have spoilers in this, but there's a random dude named Jinbei that is just casually mentioned in episode 20-something, like maybe 22, around there, somewhere in the 20s, I believe. And he doesn't actually even appear in the show until the 500s. In fact, by the time Jinbei actually got into the show and I saw it, I forgot he was ever mentioned, because so much time passed. There is always groundwork for things to build upon later, and a lot of these things you will remember. Some of, Jinbei casually mentioned, I didn't, but a lot of these things you will. And when you're always building upon things that happened episodes ago for this long, it creates a huge emotional attachment. And it creates a huge nostalgia for all the things that happened. And because it's always building, the way the story is set up, it's about this cast of misfit pirates chasing their dreams against all odds. The way it's set up, it's always building upon those old moments. They never stop being important. They're always a stepping stone of how they got to where they are. So it's not like, oh, here's this, random, episodic thing. One Piece is far from episodic. It's a giant, long story. It's a giant stepladder going up for 1,000 episodes. But when you've invested that time into it, it becomes really special. There is something undeniably special and unique about One Piece that's only been achieved because not only has it created that nostalgic feeling, but it's still going and continuing the same story, and it's still progressing. It's not like Pokemon, which, yeah, there's still new seasons of Pokemon coming out, but it's mostly episodic. It's just Ash redoing, a league and usually losing before he actually accomplishes anything, blah, 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 blah. It is entirely different, because this never stops building upon the past. You are always progressing towards the main goal of the series, and they are always getting stronger, and always fighting stronger people. And there are people that are hyped up to be these big, bad, strong dudes that were hyped up and shown off in the first 100 episodes of One Piece that are still big, strong, bad dudes that Luffy isn't ready to fight yet. It's a unique feeling watching a new episode on a Saturday of this crazy show that is still finding ways to have unique and interesting plots this far in. Because it simultaneously is new and nostalgic every new episode. Because every new episode, it's like, yeah, this is new, it's awesome. But it still has that great feeling of, this is something from the past that's getting built upon. It never loses its way and becomes a different show. It never has it where all of a sudden you're like, man, this isn't as good as old One Piece. No, it doesn't have that. And yeah, sure, there's arcs that are, better than other arcs. Not every arc is inherently better than the arc before it. But it's still an arc of One Piece. Every arc feels like, man, that's a really One Piece thing to happen. And there's always great things that are still happening. In the arc in 880, the arc they just finished was people were going back, and again, I'm avoiding spoilers here, but people are going back and rewatching arcs of One Piece because it was so emotional. They're like, man, this dude got more character development, and now I need to go rewatch this old arc, because there are things that happened in these old episodes that make more sense now that we got more backstory, even though this backstory was written over a decade later. Eiichiro Oda is a genius writer in the sense that he is continually developing existing characters over a decade later, but he never does so in a way that compromises those characters or compromises what makes them great. It's a simple show. It's a shonen anime. This isn't Cowboy Bebop, it's not Psycho Pass, this isn't gonna tell you... If you're getting into One Piece, it's not going to tell you it's not going to delve into deep psychological ideas and have heavy monologues that make you rethink the way you currently think your life. It's not going to do that. This isn't something that's going to have awesome experimental animation that a single frame of is such a great piece of art that you want to put it on your wall. This isn't that. But what it is a very self-aware series that takes just a simple idea of a misfit crew of pirates banding together to achieve their dreams in ways that are usually just them fighting other people and beating them up to somehow get there. But they manage to always be unique and interesting and build upon everything you've seen before. It's always going and progressing in a way that is interesting. If you want to have a unique experience that by the time you catch up will be this unique feeling of nostalgia while exploring new things, while constantly being funny and exciting and action-packed, then damn right One Piece is worth watching 1,000 episodes for. Absolutely. I would rewatch I am rewatching One Piece right now. I am watching current One Piece while also rewatching old arcs to see how the new information I've been given makes other older parts of the show more impactful because I now know where it leads to. If that's something you want and you're interested in, then damn right One Piece is worth investing 1,000 episodes into. I would do it all over again right now if I had to, knowing how good it is. And that's with me being a grown adult now with an apartment and a full-time job and a wife. That's with me now being an adult, having to do adult things without having infinite free time. I would still set aside time to watch this show if I somehow magically knew how much I would love it. If that is something that sounds like you'd be interested in, then absolutely. But if you want a show that's going to be this smart, intellectual romp that is well-paced, tight-knit, and you can watch through super easy, then probably not. You're not gonna get Psycho Pass Season 1 from One Piece. You're not gonna get Hajime no Ippo from One Piece. I mean, okay, maybe Hajime no Ippo is a little similar, but still. This isn't Cowboy Bebop, it's not Welcome to the NHK. This is a show that is an obnoxious investment. And to get your investment back, you have to put in a lot of episodes. To get the feeling I'm talking about, this is a lot of episodes you need to put in to get it. Is it worth it? I think so, for me personally. But not everyone is going to enjoy having to put in 90 episodes just to finish the prologue stuff. Because the main parts of One Piece don't even really get going until like 100 episodes in. So this isn't this investment you're not going to get an immediate return of. And if having to watch a lot of episodes of this fun, goofy action show to be able to start getting these special feelings from it isn't your cup of tea, then it's not going to be worth it for you. It just won't. If you want an intellectual anime, if you want an anime that's about really smart, genius writing, clever plot twists, and, you know, good psychological things that it's, you know, presenting, like, here are these crazy ideals as we delve into the human psyche, you're not going to get that. If you want these crazy, deep, complex characters, you're not going to get that. And yeah, the characters in One Piece, all of them are great, all of them are fun, all of them are interesting. But they're not characters from Psycho Pass. They're not characters from Death Note. I mean, okay, characters in Death Note are absurdly simple. Their characters in Death Note are really simple, so that's a bad example. And I'm not knocking Death Note, but the characters in Death Note are simple, so it's a bad example, but One Piece are, you know, they're not, it's not a character study. And if that's what if you're looking for characters, the complexity of Evangelion, you're not getting that either. But maybe, if in between all these amazing 24-episode anime, maybe in between watching Cowboy Bebop and switching over to Welcome to the NHK, or maybe, you know, after you watch an episode of that and you're feeling like just watching something fun, then maybe watch a few episodes of One Piece. And get to the point where now all of a sudden you're in the Orange Islands and Arlong Park and Water 7 and the Marineford arc and all these arcs where you realize that the show is more than just some goofy dumb show, where it really becomes something special. You know, maybe if you're willing to, you know, watch some episodes here and there while you're watching other shows, you know, until you get to those parts of One Piece where you're like, man, I don't want to watch the other show, I just want to watch One Piece. Maybe if you're willing to do that, then maybe then it's worth it. Or if you just like manga, just read the manga. It will be a lot easier, it'll save you a lot of time. Just read the manga, and then, you know, every once in a while when there's a really emotional scene that you're like, man, I want to see that animated, you can go find that scene or that episode and watch it. But, you know, the easiest way to digest this again is just read the manga. But if all those things I mentioned don't sound interesting to you, if you watch this whole video and you're like, yeah, but that's still too long of a show, I don't want to watch a thing that's 1,000 episodes, I don't want to watch some dorky shonen anime for 1,000 episodes. If I said all this stuff about the emotional impact One Piece has had on me, and you're still iffy, like, nah, I don't want to watch it, then, yeah, maybe don't watch it. It's not something that's for everyone. Not everyone is going to enjoy going through all these episodes. Not everyone will. If I've said all this and it sounds interesting, then yeah, absolutely invest the time. But if you're still like, no, that's too long, then yeah, it's not for you. And that's perfectly okay. There's lots of great anime. But for those of you who watch this video and you're thinking of maybe I will finally get around to watching One Piece, then I think you're in for a really, really fun time. And once you get farther into this, it's going to become something really special, and you'll be really glad that you took the advice of this random weirdo you found on the internet. Bye-bye!